bike, obviously, but I think you ride one in your personal life too. What type of bike?
I got a 2003 Fat Boy with big apes on it. Yeah, what about you? You ride?
No, not yet.
Oh,
I will.
Not yet. You're too late to start. You'll kill yourself.
How long have you been riding?
I started on Sons of Anarchy. My manager called me. I'd always wanted to ride, and I had never learned. And my manager called me, and she said, "Do you want them to pay you to learn to ride a motorcycle?" And I said, "Yes." I said, "Do you want to read the script?" I said, "No." I said, "They're going to pay me to ride a motorcycle. I'll do it." And that's how it all started.
Do you still have a dream bike that you'd want to get someday?
No. I like little rat rods to throw around.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody got a question?
How did you land the role for Beta in The Walking Dead?
That was really strange. I was meditating one day and I had this feeling that I was going to be on that show, so I called my agent and I said, "Yo, call up AMC and just tell them I want to be on the show." And they're like, "That's not kind of how it works." And I said, "Yeah, just call them anyways." And they called them and they said, "Yeah." And they called me back and they said, "Yo, there's no role for you on that show." And I was like, "Really?" Because I have a feeling I'm going to be on that show. And then 2 months later, I get this call, and my agent's like, "You're never going to believe this." And I was like, "What?" And they said, "They want you to be on The Walking Dead." And I said, "Oh, well, I guess I was right." And, yeah, it was really strange. But I've been friends with Jeff and Norman for years. And what was funny was, I guess Jeff had heard that that they were going to cast me before they offered me the role, so he was texting me all these like really strange texts where he was just like, "Oh man, this is awesome," and I was like, "I have no idea what you're talking about." And then, but yeah, that's how I landed the role. They just offered it to me.
That's cool. Were you a fan of The Walking Dead before?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah. What was your first exposure to it?
I probably the pilot episode of the show, and then I got into the graphic novel after that. Yeah.
We love hearing that, and you just keep reading up. You keep reading up the comics till the end?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
I love it, man. I love when people are ambassador for comics.
Yeah.
Did you have a question?
What was your favorite scene to shoot when you were Beta?
Look at this guy, late to the party. What's up, dude? My favorite scene to shoot is Beta. Probably that fight with Norman. That was fun. Him and I choreographed that whole thing together, so that was fun. Yeah. What's up, dude?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Walking Anarchy, or whatever they're calling this panel.
The Walking Anarchy.
Ryan Hurst.
That's you and me, Walking
We're
Anarchy.
pretty Walking Anarchy,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah. I just like, if we're walking down a hall, like we just look so weird next to each other, and that's why it works.
It does work. It does work.
That's why it works. But how are you?
I'm good, brother.
Welcome back. You were here last December.
Yeah.
And I remember you're like, "Hey man, is this a good con?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's pretty good."
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
come on out. Like,
I love this guy.
I love this guy. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Yeah, welcome here. Do you ever come to the Inland Empire? I know you're in the valley. And,
Yeah, no, not so much. Just here in San Diego, a little bit here and there, but not much. Yeah. What about you?
So I mean, this is your panel, but my grandmother lived in Rolling Heights, which is about 20 minutes from here.
Yeah.
And it was the early '80s, so she'd been retired and whatever. And I used to come and visit her every summer. So that was my connection to Southern California.
Got it.
And then I went to college, so I didn't visit her for a while, and I came back.
Where did you go to college?
University of Michigan.
Okay.
Yeah,
Got it.
yeah, go blue, Tom Brady,
There you go.
like Derek Jeter. Came back and basically the Chinese had taken over Rolling Heights. Like it was everything had Chinese characters on it. And I was like, when does it become Blade Runner? Like, it was really cool. And my mom was like, all the Hong Kong people moved over and took over like the Inland Empire, and the food got really good.
Yeah.
So, the other connection I have to this area, there's a mall called the Puente Hills Mall, not too far from here. It's more famously known as the Twin Pines Mall from Back to
Oh,
the Future.
no shit, I didn't know that.
Where
You
they-
guys all know that?
That's where they shot that. And our family used to have a Chinese restaurant in there called Yum Yum Chinese Food. And when I was really little, I was like 6. But,
Well, at least you call it Yum Yum. I remember I was driving
Thank
by
you.
some, thanks brother. I was driving by someplace and it just said, okay Chinese food. I was like, really?
Just okay.
Just okay.
It's okay.
At least they're honest.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, but yeah, how are you? Are you working on anything right now? Or?
I just finished up the second season of a show for Disney Plus called The Mysterious Benedict Society, which is fun. And then just did the last little tiny bit of God of War for
Oh, dude.
for Thor. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Hey, you're Thor.
Yeah.
I mean, I always kind of thought of you as a god.
Yeah.
Always since I've
You and me also. You and me
Yeah,
also.
he's got the body, he's got the look, he's got the attitude. He likes to save people. He loves dogs. He's a god. He's a god. How did that happen?
They just offered it to me. The two creators of the show of the video game. They came over to my house for like 5 hours, and they showed me all the artwork, and they described the story for the entire video game.
Yeah.
Which was super complex, and it was this rich tapestry of stuff, and I always like to do new things. So to do motion capture for a video game was a lot of fun. It was like there's a steep learning curve too, because it wasn't just normal motion capture where they like put you in a suit, with the balls on it and the dots on your face, but they would have these monitors up. You're in a room about this big, but there's monitors up everywhere because Thor is supposed to be like 7 foot something tall. So you could watch the animated version of yourself in real time in relation to other characters.
Oh, yeah.
So it was kind of like you had to make sure that what your performance, that the performance of your body was in keeping with what you wanted to do. So it was a little bit more like, like using a marionette or something than it was acting.
Yeah.
So, but it was that's how.
That's cool. And it was like a blue room.
No, just a regular
regular
room.
room?
Yeah, they just have these cameras everywhere.
Right.
They have cameras on everybody. They have cameras in the ceiling, and everything it's but they can with the new CG engines, they can make it all pretty much real time. So
Yeah, it renders like as you're moving,
Yeah.
so you can see yourself. Like,
Yeah.
did you make any obscene gestures?
Oh,
Like,
that was the first thing. That was the first thing. I was
Yeah.
like, let me just get this out of the way.
right. Like, whoa, it works.
Yeah.
It works. And I know you're not 7 feet. You're pushing pretty
I'm
close. though.
close. I'm close.
Pretty close. Yeah, I'm just saying. I'm just saying, which is pretty cool. You've been doing a lot of these cons too, which
Yeah.
I love. I love people who hustle.
Oh yeah, man.
That's
Oh,
what
yeah,
I do.
man.
I think
You are the hustler of the house.
I try, but see, here's the thing with me is my show got canceled.
Yeah.
I was on a show called Comic Book Men. Some of you may have seen it with Kevin. Thank you very much. And so we got canceled almost 4 years ago,
Yeah.
and it was a bummer. I mean, you've
Yeah.
been through all that. It happens. It's the life
Yeah.
cycle of the show. Got 7 seasons, 96
Yeah.
episodes. I can't cry too much, but
Yeah.
I was like, man, I thought as long as we had toys and pop culture that we
we'd
could
have
go
a
on
show.
forever.
Yeah.
And honestly, AMC kind of made us this weird little. They're like, hey, as long as Walking Dead goes on, you guys will be on too. We're like, awesome.
Yeah.
They lied.
Yeah.
They're liars. But I remember I have a woman who booked some of these shows for me. I was like, hey, so God forbid we ever get canceled. What's my shelf life for going to cons? Because I want to go forever.
Yeah.
I love this. I've been, I was going before I was a fan. She's like, you got probably about 18 months. And that was 4 years ago, yeah. So I guess I'm doing something right.
Yes, you are doing
yeah,
something
I don't
right.
know. Yeah, people still seem to like me. But you've got a large body of work.
Yeah.
So you know.
He's got a great podcast too. Do you have anybody listen to his podcast?
Oh,
Yeah.
you know one guy. Yeah, I love you. I love you. Yeah, which we got to get you on. I mean, we've been threatening that for years. But, yeah, I would love to come down and do it in person. though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be fun. But remember the Titans, Lady Killer. I flipped on Lady Killers
Yeah,
randomly
sure.
the other night. Coen Brothers, like,
Yeah, that
that's
was
awesome.
fun. That's
Walking Dead, Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah.
I mean, you've done a lot of stuff, so
Yeah.
we've got fans from all
Yeah.
walks of life.
It's kind of what I like is that when somebody walks up, they don't know exactly what they're gonna get from me because I've done so many different kinds of things. Because a lot of the times when I see voice actors, you know, who have to be like, so happy with every single person, I'm just like, oh, you are living in hell, sir.
Oh yeah, they're just waiting for it to
Yeah.
get home and take a Xanax,
Yeah.
and, like some Vicodin, and just which yeah. But I watch your interactions. You're great with your fans, which is awesome.
I
Like,
try not to
you-
hurt too many people.
Yeah, yeah. I know. I've yet to see any crying children yet, or
I save it for the old and the infirm.
oh, the infirm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they're already suffering.
I
so,
know.
like,
I know,
why
so
not
why
add a
not
little
just-
bit to their misery? Like what? They can't take more. Their lot in life. I guess,
It's
right?
their lot in life.
Yeah, but I mean, you're almost out there every weekend.
Yeah, pretty
so-
much.
which means hopefully that you really
I do.
like this.
I do like it. I do like it.
That's cool. Did you ever go to cons when you were a kid? Like I remember going to
No,
when they weren't like this.
No, they weren't. I mean, I didn't go to very many cons, but like I was telling you before, I grew up in comic book shops, like, you know, Golden Apple and Heidi Ho is kind of like,
Yeah.
the comic book shops and skate and surf shops was like kind of my hangout when
Yeah.
I was little, being a Cali kid. But yeah, not cons so much, because cons were I didn't have enough money to really collect as much as I wanted to.
Yeah.
So like when you went to cons, 20, 30, 40 years ago, it was like unless you had a bunch of dough.
Right. You couldn't. And why go if you can't buy
Yeah,
anything?
yeah.
But yeah, wow, you covered the gamut in Southern California. The Golden Apples on Melrose in
Yeah.
West Hollywood.
Yeah.
Heidi Ho's in Santa Monica, correct?
Yeah, yeah.
And so that's a pretty big gap right
Yeah.
there. So you were just there's a count. I gotta go to all of them.
Yeah, yeah.
What did you collect? Were you a fan of Thor or the Avengers, or do you remember?
X-Men.
X-Men. Okay.
Yeah. I still got an X-Men number 9. That's pretty mint. So that's my little thing that I picked up along the way.
Yeah.
But that's about it. I didn't collect a lot of others. Got some Spider-Man, some Superman, early Superman stuff. But like real, just kind of like the old school stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you when you were little?
My very first comic was Avengers 214.
Okay.
And not worth a ton, maybe $10.
Yeah.
But some kid gave it to me in first grade. And I was
Yeah.
like, "What is this?"
Yeah.
This was not the usual like Jack and Jill went up the hill stuff that I was reading in first grade.
Yeah.
Like this, there's on the cover is a picture of Iron Man and the Ghost Riders, like they're fighting in midair, and
Uh-huh.
Captain America and Tiger in the background. I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh my God, what's going on?" And I'm
Yeah.
like, what is this? So my mind was blown.
Yeah.
And I read that thing cover to cover, and yeah, it was a lot of action. I didn't know what was going on at the time. I was young, but it was famous. It's kind of famous. It's an issue after Ant-Man. Hank Pym slaps his wife.
Okay.
They got into a fight, and there was domestic violence in
Wow.
the issue beforehand.
Okay.
And I didn't know what was going on. Is that my parents don't hit each other. But,
Right.
Luckily, but later on in life, I was like, wow, this is a pretty heavy issue.
Got it.
Yeah, but that was my first one. So I love the Avengers. I
Yeah.
was a Marvel kid growing up.
Yeah.
In high school, I switched to DC because the villains were
Yeah.
darker, and
Yeah.
I just, I guess I was becoming more like an emo kid.
Yeah. Got it. Got it.
Yeah, I wanted to, like.
I remember when I was probably in junior high or so. Like I remember buying those first couple Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
When the animation was like really sketchy,
Yeah.
and gritty, and Usagi Yojimbo, like those.
Yep.
Those were my go-tos when I
Those
was
were
little.
great. Yeah, the first Turtles were black and white.
Yeah.
No like different colored because those are they did that for kids
Yeah.
so they could distinguish who was who.
Yeah.
No pizza.
No
Like,
pizza.
they were cutting people up, man. The Foot Clan
Yeah.
was in trouble back
Yeah.
then.
Yeah.
But they sold out. And,
Yeah.
and rightfully so. That franchise is still going.
Yeah, I know.
Right.
I know. My goodness.
That's awesome. Did you start? You started acting very young, right?
No, I mean like probably when I was 17, 16.
Okay,
17.
that's okay.
Yeah, no, my dad's an actor and my mom's an acting coach, and I wanted to act when I was younger, but they were like, they kept me out of it until I was older. They said, you've got to be a kid first.
Okay, so they've seen the pitfalls.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. They're
And-
like, when you're older, you can make your own decisions. But
And you did.
yeah, and I did.
What was the first thing you
A spam commercial.
like as in spam as in the processed meat?
Correct, yes.
Which
It was the first commercial for spam, too, where they had like actual people in it and not just the product.
Yeah.
And
That's groundbreaking.
yeah, I'll tell you. But I was living on my own by the time that I was 16, so I was like just trying to scrape together enough rent money. And I remember I did this one commercial for spam, and it was a national commercial, and it ran for 5 years. And it kept,
Whoa.
and it ran over and over and over and over again. So it kept me, it kept me from getting an eviction notice, for a good 5 years.
And was it all that spam that turned you into a vegan?
Yeah, right. Pretty much.
You're one of the
Close.
one of the more higher profile vegans that I know.
Yeah, my line in the spam commercial was, one can feed 3 of you, or 1 of you 3 times. That was my big plan. So he eats spam and he's diligently good at math.
Right. He's really good at rapping. It's like a war or something. But, I mean, I guess it is like a wartime
It is
food,
a
right?
wartime
So,
food. It lasts forever, right? That stuff.
Right, no shelf life.
Yeah.
That's so 17. That's amazing. And
Yeah.
the commercials, they run long.
Oh, yeah, back then, yeah, sure.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And, where'd you go from there? Did you do school plays and stuff too, or did you?
Yeah,
do,
all of the school plays. Yeah, I did a lot of school plays, but in the business, it was very soon after that. I got a recurring role on Saved by the Bell, the new class.
Yes.
Which was fun. But yeah, that was the very beginning. Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
And then Sons of Anarchy.
Yep.
Well, I remember the Titans,
Yeah.
the Killers, somewhere along
Somewhere in
that
there.
line too.
Yeah.
What was it like working with the Coen brothers?
It was the best. They were so low key. Like when you shoot a show, a lot of the times, it's sometimes you're doing 16, 18-hour days, and it can be stressful, and the locations that you're at. But the Coen brothers, they've been doing it. They're such pros. They would work from 9 in the morning to 5 at night. 5 at night.
You wrapped at 5?
We wrapped at 5. We were done.
So you'd be home in time for dinner with your
Yeah,
family.
well, that's literally why they did it. They were like, we have kids, we're not going to throw our lives away. They were
That's
like,
crazy.
yeah, and they would, they give you sides, which is like the script of what you're shooting that day. And usually it's a lot of pages, and the director's kind of, composing the shots as they go along. And it takes a lot of time. There's lighting and this and that. And the Coen brothers would give you the sides, and on the back of it was a storyboard with the lighting setup on the actual back of the storyboards, and they only shot that.
Yeah.
They went, this is exactly what we're shooting. This is exactly
do
what
this.
Yeah, this is exactly what you're saying. This is where the lights go, and they have it down to a science of how they can actually get these things done really quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then Son started as a kind of recurring character. And
Yeah.
It's like, we like this guy. Let's just throw him on all the time.
Yeah, it was great. No, they told me when they hired me that they were like, you come on as the best friend, but you're going to die at the end of the first season, and and then they'd release the first couple episodes, and they said, oh, people seem to like this character.
Did you have to memorize all those lines every day?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's your job, right?
Yeah. I'm a professional chameleon and memorizer. That's what I do.
AKA acting.
I'll tell you a quick story though. I remember it was a show, I forget what was it called? It was a show where Jeff Goldblum played a detective. It was like a short-lived show. I think it was called Reigns or something like that. And I had a tiny little part in a couple episodes. I remember I showed up, and it was the first day of the pilot. And I showed up, and I'd never met Jeff Goldblum before, and And he sees me and he goes, Ryan Hurst. And I went, yeah. And we were talking, and da 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 da. And then I saw that he knew every single person's name. It was the first day, and he knew all the cast, all the crew. And I said, first of all, how do you do that? Second of all, why do you do that? And he said, number one, I memorize things for a living, so it's just something that I do. And they said, and two, because it means nothing to me and everything to them. And I was like, very sweet of you.
Yeah.
And another thing about Jeff is, we would all, sitting around in between takes, we would play the movie game, where you you name an actor and then you name a movie that actor has been in, and then the next person's job is to come up with another actor who's been in that, and it kind of goes on and on.
Yeah, until somebody fails and then they lose, yeah.
Right. And we would play, and Jeff would always bring it back to himself. Starring Jeff Goldblum.
Jurassic Park. The Fly. I would do that too.
Yeah, would you?
If I had that body of work. Yeah.
He's phenomenal.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Then Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Beta.
Yeah.
How did that? Did you get a call and
Yeah, I told them why we had
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, who took my question?
Yeah.
Which was not a 9-to-5 job.
No.
That was shooting in Atlanta,
No, yeah.
wearing heavy makeup.
It's the worst. It was the worst.
It's not cool in Atlanta.
No, in
it's
any
very
way.
hot.
Is wearing a leather trench coat with 2 layers under that and a latex mask in Georgia heat. Man, I mean, it's not working in a coal mine, but it's damn close.
Right. You suffer for your craft, though.
Oh,
and,
okay.
And you look.
I'm getting too old, man.
You look great. You look great doing
Oh,
it.
thanks,
so.
brother. Thanks.
Did you channel any of that frustration into your character?
No, I would just sweat. I would just sweat and complain.
Yeah.
I tell you, as I get older, people go like, I'm doing my own stunts. I'm like, I was like, you are 20. Have a blast.
Right.
Have a blast, my friend.
Yeah. You get some bragging rights in doing that, but.
No,
Yeah. You don't recover as quickly.
No, I always thought it's taking away somebody's job. I'm like, there's a guy that's dressed like me right there. I'd have him do it.
Yeah, they already have a guy to do that.
Yeah.
Chill out, stay cool.
Absolutely.
Stay cool. Pretty amazing. So, can we talk about dogs for the next hour?
Sure.
How many do you have right now?
12.
Okay. How do you manage 12? I have one. I can
Okay.
barely. She's 23 pounds.
Okay.
And so I like the little dogs because they eat less and they poop less.
Yeah.
But I only have one, and
Okay.
she can be a handful.
Yeah.
But I know why you do it. I get home and she can't wait to see me, and she's
Oh, yeah.
going nuts and flipping out, and she
Yeah.
just can't wait to see me. And I was like no one acts like this.
I know. The heart of a dog is a bottomless thing.
Yeah.
It's a sacred and bottomless thing. I fell in love with dogs, and I became a positive reinforcement dog trainer a few, I don't know, 5-6 years ago now. And it really just kind of changed my life view on how to interact with things and people. Not that it's always easy, but is once you learn what a dog, first of all, you learn to respect that a dog are superior to humans in their ability to read body language. And once you understand, when I first train a dog for the first, 2 weeks or 28 days, I try not to speak to the dog at all. I'll just teach them little tiny hand signals. I teach them sign language before anything else. And because dogs are superior in being able to read the body language of a human. And once you learn the basics of how to communicate to a dog, it becomes this really intimate, fun relationship.
Yeah.
Where you're never disciplining the dog, you're never saying no to the dog, you're never hitting the dog, you're never putting your hands on the dog. Because if you have chicken cheese hot dog steak, the dog is going to pay attention. If you have it
Right.
in your hand, and that the dog will sit there and look at you and go, okay, you've got essentially $10,000 in your hand. What do I got to do for that $10,000? And once you learn the foundation, the basics of how to kind of lure and maneuver the dog into doing something that echoes the behavior that you're trying to get. It doesn't have to be totally specific yet. It's called, it is you kind of think about it like a bullseye. A lot of the times people go, like I want my dog to sit. Well, that's the bullseye, is to go like sit, 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 sit. Is the dog always goes, what the hell is this person saying? But if you start to, from the outside, if you start to kind of lure them into a behavior that kind of is a sit, and you reinforce that, they go, okay, so I'll do more of that. Anything that you reinforce in the dog with food and positivity, the dog is going to do more of. And the things that you don't want the dog to do, you ignore. And this is the hardest part for Western civilization to understand, which is like, the dog is doing something that I don't want them to do. I have to tell them that to not do it. Did that work with any of you, with your parents?
No, look at us now. Yeah.
But we seem to still kind of like project that onto dogs. It's like, I have to discipline my dog. I have to, there's all this Cesar Millan bullshit. Excuse me, but it's just total, utter bullshit. This like, you have to be dominant. You have to show them who's the alpha. Total garbage. If you want to hurt your dog, go ahead and keep doing that. If you want to scare your dog and you want your dog to possibly bite you or bite people in the future, keep doing it. But the best way to train the dog is through having something that they want and then withholding it until they do some echo of the behavior that you want, and then you reinforce it. And then you slowly, gradually get them towards doing a behavior that you like. For instance, like, we've taught our dogs to like open up the refrigerator and take something out.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so, but it's like
They
the way
close it back up again?
they do close it.
that's better than most humans, but yes.
Yeah, but the way that you start it is you'll just take like a little rope toy, and you'll just hold it in your hand and you'll wait, and you'll just put it in front of the dog and you'll wait. And when the dog comes over and smells it, you go, good, and you give him some chicken. And the dog goes, what did I do? You just wait. And then they'll come over and sniff it again. Give them a piece of chicken. They sniff it again. Give it a piece of chicken. Then they start to go, I get it. I like this rope thing. And they start to sniff it and give them a piece of chicken. And then they sniff it and you don't. And the dog goes, yo, sniff the thing, where's the chicken? And you just wait, and you just wait, and you just wait. They sniff it again. They'll sniff it again and look at you. They'll sniff it again, and then they'll bite it a little bit. And you give them a piece of chicken. And then they sniff it, and you don't give them something, and then they bite it. You give them a piece of chicken. Then they bite it, and you give them a piece of chicken. Then you do that for a little while, then you withhold it again, so they're biting it. They're biting it, they don't get chicken. They go, what's up? I was smelling. Now
What do I have to do?
What do I have to do? And then the dog will start to bite it and pull it a little bit. You give him a piece of chicken. You give him a piece of chicken. Piece of chicken. Just only when they bite it. Then you take it and you attach that rope toy to the refrigerator. You hold onto it and you wait for them to bite it. Then they bite it and you don't give them a piece of chicken. And they go, what is going on? And then they'll start to bite it and pull it a little bit. It's called successive approximation, which is just like, again, like a bullseye. It's just, you start on the outside, baby steps, keep them successful. And then you can build these super, super duper complex behaviors. And it's all through never forcing the dog to do anything, never scaring the dog, never intimidating the dog, only creating a relationship where the dog goes, I'm going to do what you want me to do because you got all the chicken.
Right.
So that's the basic.
I work in much the same way.
So do I.
Yeah. I mean, you're seeing me eat, right? So, yeah, you got chicken, cheese, hot dogs, tamales.
Well, I mean,
Pad
that's
thai.
but it's like it's modern psychology,
Yeah.
right? I mean, it's the way that we work. You wouldn't show up to your job if they didn't pay you. Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
How would you recommend to keep a dog from eating through the screen porch?
They're eating through the screen porch. So they, under what conditions are they? So are they trying to get outside?
Trying to get in.
Trying to get in from being outside. They want to be outside, but then when they're tired of being outside, she's been chewing through our screen doors.
Yeah, those
to get
screen
them
doors
in.
aren't cheap. Yeah.
We've gone through what, 3?
Okay, and then what? Number one is, are they on a consistent schedule?
That's probably, no, they're not, because she works from home half the week, and the other half she works from the office, and that's when they have to be outside.
So that's something that, well, number one is you're gonna wanna limit their access to being able to do that. So is there a reason why you keep them outside when you're not there?
In this type of weather, when it gets really warm, and super hot outside, we don't have to, we
Uh-huh.
pee, but
Well,
this weather's nice.
dogs, just like people, is that they respond best to a routine.
Okay.
Is the stricter that you can be with a routine, the better they can monitor their behavior.
Okay.
Is if they know when they're gonna eat, when they're gonna go outside, when they're gonna pee, when they're gonna poop, what time they go to sleep, is they can start to self-regulate. Until then, if you're not gonna change too many things, is one, I would just try to put up a baby gate in front of the screen, so that they don't try to chew through the screen to get inside. Number two is what you can start to do, like on the inside, is like that same behavior that I was telling you about with a rope. You can do it with a bell. Is you can get a little bell and you put it out in front of them, and you just wait for them to come over and sniff it. And when they sniff it and it dings, you go outside and you take them outside. And you stay out there until they go to the bathroom, and then you have a different bell with maybe a different tone on it that you put outside, and you go outside and you wait by the bell and you wait for them to sniff it, and it dings, and you go inside and you bring them inside. And then your dog slowly over time, if you're really consistent, and also just be super patient, is know that it's going to take probably 2 months of consistently trying to do it 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day, just working with the dog. But that at a certain point, the dog will start to go, I get this. I gotta go pee. Ding. That's what our dogs do. And you can follow. There's lots of people on Instagram that do bell training or button training.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, so the buttons, they speak.
Yeah.
Those buttons, so the dog will hit them.
Yeah.
And I fell in this rabbit hole, I was watching like TikTok videos of these
Yeah.
dogs
Yeah.
going, wanna go outside or,
Yeah.
yeah, and I was like, is this real?
Yeah, no, it is. There was a woman down in San Diego who started this study with a dog called Bunny, that she was an animal psychologist, and she started putting basically her voice saying different words, and started conditioning the dog to start to understand what the words are now that the dog pressed the buttons. And what they're learning is that a dog's ability to not only identify words, but syntax is much higher. Is that they can say, like, where is the, not just like dad, or like
Yeah, they can
food,
form
food,
sentences.
that they actually know syntax, which sort of blew my mind. But yeah, it's that they'll start with a few buttons, which is just like, a button that they'll, condition just like the bell, is the dog will push a button that says like poop, and then, and then you take them outside.
That's a valuable one.
It is a good one. Yeah, so there's tons of videos on Instagram for dogs with buttons and with bells. Sorry?
How old are your dogs?
Across the board. We have a little guy who's probably 13 or 14. He was a rescue down to how old is kid? 3? 2. Yeah.
No, we have a 16-year-old dog.
Yeah. Little guy, I'm sure.
Yeah, he's a Clarke mix, yeah.
Yeah.
He's going blind right now. He's
Yeah.
And so we got my son's dog that we have to babysit
Yeah.
right now. So we have to keep them separated.
Yeah.
Because, you know, they got into it. So we have to
Yeah.
take one out, bring one in, take one out, bring one in,
Yeah.
you know.
So a good thing to do for blind dogs or dogs that are going blind, there's a couple things that I recommend to people. Number one is to take a little like essential oil and put it on the corner of like walls or tables so that the dog doesn't bump into things, is that they start to map things with their scent.
Yeah.
Is, especially if you have stairs in your house.
Well, they did, my husband and my son did, because they made a ramp
Yeah.
for the dog to get up on the bed, because his legs were too short.
Right.
We're afraid to break them.
Right.
So they made a ramp, so
Right.
he does the ramp on the bed.
But if and when he goes totally blind, is scent mapping is a great one. And they also make this little thing that's like a collar. It kind of has this little thing that comes up over the head like this, and then it's almost like it's like a little halo that goes like this in front of them, so that they can kind of walk around and not smash into something, that this little halo will bump into things before they do. Yeah.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Did you think you'd be getting dog advice today? I'm glad you did though, yeah. Yeah, do you let, you have 12 dogs, do you let him on the bed?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I don't get these people, it's like, no, I don't let my dogs on the bed. I was like, that's, save on heating, man.
I know.
All 12 at one time?
What's that? Not all at once, not all at once.
That's a lot, that's a
We
big
do it in
bed.
shifts. We do it in shifts.
Yeah, do you think you'll get more? 12 is a lot.
We're at capacity.
Okay, because I saw Burt Ward, who played Robin on the
Yeah.
66 Batman, he's got like 25 dogs.
Wow, where do you
It's-
live?
I think he's
Not
out.
in LA?
I think he does, yeah.
Wow.
Norco. He's in Norco.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Okay, so he has a little bit of land, probably.
Yeah.
He lives in a condo in a one bedroom.
Yeah. His landlord loves it. His security deposit is, is out there. Yeah, he has a dog food that
Oh,
he's
okay.
really into, and he's made it clear, like, if your dog eats my dog food, it'll live to like up to 25 years. I'm like,
Wow.
oh man, I don't know if he's able to really back this up.
Right.
But Robin said it.
Yeah.
So like, golly gee Willikers is like.
Batman?
Yeah, holy lifespan. Yeah, which is pretty funny. Yes.
Do you play any instrument?
No, I don't. I played a little bit of piano when I was younger, but that's about it. What about you? Let me guess. Not guitar. Guitar-ish. No. Bass? What do you play?
Ooh, you're close. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just the guitar and drums.
Yeah, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, you look like you're in a band.
Yeah.
You want to rock for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Growing out there, yeah.
There you go.
I get it. So you don't do like the singing bowls or anything like that either? Can you?
No,
Okay.
I mean, I play the gong. But that's about it.
I've always learned that the harmonium looks always
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, can you play the harmonium?
No, I've never tried. Like
Okay.
maybe I can nail it the first time. It doesn't look.
I know, it's hard. You gotta like.
Yeah, well, speaking of that, you have a very deep spiritual side,
Yeah.
which I admire. You're a Kundalini yoga instructor.
Yeah.
How did you get into that? Did you meet somebody who was like who influenced you, or is this a lifelong?
Yeah, it was one of those crazy things. Is I was practicing yoga for, God, probably 10 years or 12 years.
Yeah.
And before this was in my 20s. I did Ashtanga, I did Hatha, I did
Yeah, vinyasa, like everything.
Vinyasa.
Yeah.
And I did each of them consistently for about 3.5 years, like diligently every day. What was funny was, while I was studying these different modalities, I was only reading and studying Kundalini, but I wasn't practicing.
Yeah.
I had never been to a class, anything. It was just reading up on the philosophy and the sort of the Kundalini tradition for, God, 10 years, more so. And then this weird thing happened where I was, it was near the end of Sons of Anarchy, and Russell Brand, I remember Russell Brand, and he said, I want you to come and do my talk show. And I don't usually like to do talk shows or like those, it's just not my kind of thing. And but something said, you're supposed to go to this talk show.
Yeah, just.
And I was like, yeah, I'll do it. I don't know why I'm supposed to do it, but I'm gonna do it. And then I was backstage and I was about to go out to film the show, and I'm walking out of the green room, and there's this tiny little hallway, and there's this woman there, this little 7-year-old woman who's like 5 foot nothing, dressed all in white. She's got a white turban on, and she's just got this aura about her, and she walks up to me and she goes, "Hi." And I just got goosebumps all over my body. And I sat there and I started talking with her, and we were just small talking about where do you live, do you have kids, this and that. And I was talking to this woman, and it was as though I was having 7 conversations with her all at once. I was just transfixed, and then she went, "Okay, bye," and then left. And I went out and filmed the show, and I couldn't stop thinking about this lady while I was filming the show and right after the show. And it was just had this profound effect on me, this little old spiritual woman. And then I was leaving the show, and I was about to get in the car, and Russell calls out to me, and he goes, "Hey," he goes, "what are you doing tomorrow?" And I said, "Nothing." And he goes, "You want to come to Kundalini?" And it was like hearing somebody ring a bell where your life changed.
Yeah.
And I just went, "Yes, I do want to go to Kundalini." And he was like, "All right," and he gave me the address. And I was in the car, and I went, "I bet that woman that I met is the teacher." And I showed up, and she was the teacher. And,
Wow.
And I walked up to her afterwards, and it was a little bit like that old saying of like, together again for the first time, is I kind of just knew that this woman, whose name is Tage, was my teacher.
Yeah.
Is I walked up to her after the class, and she was just kind of like, "You ready?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she was
Are
like,
you ready for the journey?
yeah, and she goes, "All right, well, here's your first 40-day meditation. I know you can do it. You can do it, right?" And I went, "Yep." And that was the beginning.
Yeah.
And she really just helps her to transform everything.
That's amazing.
Yeah. It's not unlike, if you ever watch, Paramahamsa Yogananda's, when he talks about meeting his teacher. It's a really beautiful thing if and when you get a chance to meet a spiritual teacher who happens to be your teacher. And these people aren't necessarily your gurus. They're not gonna, these aren't people who are gonna endow you with things. They're just people who, that you have some sort of karmic date with that they're here to help elevate you. Yogananda was walking along in India, and something said, "Turn down this alley." And he turned down this alley, and he walked there, and there was just a man standing there, and he fell to the feet of this guy, and he was like, "I've been waiting for you." It's a really sort of profound, otherworldly. You can't explain it. It sounds all juju and weird, but when it happens to you, you're like, "What is this?" And and she's just been transformative in helping me understand different ways that energy works on this planet. That's about it.
That's amazing. And you've passed that on.
Yeah.
You became an instructor yourself.
Yeah.
And every so often, if you're lucky at a con,
We've done them at cons.
You'll lead a class.
Yeah, the first one that we did was fun. We did it in Detroit, and it was me and Charlie Hunnam, with 500 people who'd never done Kundalini in Detroit. It was fun. But yeah, and I was actually so surprised. Charlie just came out with a movie on Hulu or something like that, called Last Looks, where he plays this detective. And the opening of the movie is him doing Kundalini yoga. I was like, "Hey!"
Wait a minute.
I was like, "I know who wrote that."
Yep.
But yeah, Charlie's probably one of the only people that I've, because with yoga and that kind of stuff, you don't proselytize this stuff. You don't go like, "Oh my God, you have to do this." If somebody makes their way to it, great. If they don't, they don't. But for whatever reason, for years, Charlie was the only person that I kept going, "You gotta come to a class."
Yeah.
And he would go like, "Okay, I'll come," and then he would text me 15 minutes beforehand, going like, "I'm not coming." And then I was off shooting a movie, and then he was here, and then I get this text where he said, "I've been going to Taja's class for the last 3 weeks," and he says, "and it feels like coming home." And he sent me this picture of him, and he had these big old eyeballs, and like this aura like this.
Yeah.
And and now he's kind of a great practitioner also.
Yeah, I think some people will just kind of
Yeah.
take it on.
Yeah.
And, yeah, it was the same thing. I had friends like, yeah, you gotta go, and
Yeah.
and I tried to bail, and then one day I was like, screw it, I'm gonna go, and it
Yeah.
changed my life. Yeah, I haven't done a ton of Kundalini,
Yeah.
but I mean,
But
you've been very.
but you have a solid practice.
I have good instructors.
Yeah.
It's if you haven't done it, we're here to tell you to go do it.
Yeah.
Like, no matter, you're like, oh, I'm not flexible. It's like, that's why you go.
Yeah.
Like, you don't
Correct.
go because you're already flexible.
Correct.
Yeah. It's just,
Correct.
I know, it's fun. It's good for clearing my mind.
Yep.
You know, like, we're always running around.
Yeah.
Sitting in.
I always love that when people say oh, like I'm not flexible enough. I was like, it's like somebody saying like I'm too fat to go to the gym. It's like I don't get it. It's just like you can go to, and also there's something like to dispel it is like when you go to a yoga class is that the energy of a yoga class is so supportive. You can go to, I've gone to yoga classes where, I've been working or whatever, I'll just go there and just lay down in the back and fall asleep. And you wake up and you go,
It's pretty awesome.
better. is if you want to go to a yoga class and fall asleep, please go do it. If that's the first entree to doing any type of yoga, go for it.
Yeah, you literally lay in the back.
Yeah.
Yeah, just kind of like,
Yeah.
Yeah, so go. Even totally. Anybody have any questions? I'm hogging everything here, so
Yeah.
please, shoot your hand up.
Yeah.
Actually, here's an off-the-wall one. What did you think about sharing your Best Supporting Actor role with Peter Dinklage?
Well, best support.
Satellite Awards.
Satellite. That's one award that I got. They give that award to anybody who shows up.
Peter Dinklage from
Sure, he's great. I've loved Peter since the station agent from Elf when he first started. I remember that guy first started, and I was like, oh, this guy's got chops.
Yeah.
He's phenomenal. I actually, there was a while him and I actually connected, and it never went anywhere. But I had a show that him and I were pitching where it was Peter as a bounty hunter called, and the name of the show was called Twerp. And this was right before Game of Thrones. So he'd had a feature career for a little while, but never went anywhere. But he's a great dude. He's a great dude.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
I loved your character in The Walking Dead, and I was wondering if you had any input on the way he was killed off.
Yeah, it sucked. It was like,
Yeah.
it sucked. But, I mean, Knives in the Eyes is cool, but Jeffrey and I had been planning that there was going to be, Jeffrey and Norman and I, that there was going to be one more sort of big old fight. And then they were like, no, we're just going to stab you in the face. I was just like, what? I was like, really?
What fun is that?
I was just like, and they're like, we're going for the shock value that just kind of comes out of nowhere. I was just like, but I like that they did a tiny little flashback that was a little homage as he was dying to show that, the sort of transgression of this character. But yeah, I thought that they could have done a little bit more with it.
Yeah, well, they have all that cool stuff at their resources.
Yeah, I know.
All those resources.
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
I would have preferred that.
Yeah,
as
me
well,
too.
'cause, yeah. Did AMC send you a Christmas present?
Like a shirt, nothing
Oh,
much.
shirt?
Yeah, nothing much.
Okay, no, I was like.
Just so you know, like on big, super successful shows, like a lot of the top actors sometimes will get a car. You get, if you've gone out a couple seasons, you get a mug and a shirt.
Yeah.
And I always give all those things to my brothers, and they're like, we don't want any more of this.
Yeah, I only had, I think the first season we got some framed artwork of ourselves, which was
Yeah.
cool. Then we kept going, right?
Yeah.
So it started getting better. So
What's the best?
we got an iPad one year, which was
that's
cool,
good.
and like $100 iTunes gift card. It had the AMC logo on it.
$100. What do you get for
I
$100?
could have, I should have bought Sons of Anarchy the whole season. And then the year after that, we got PlayStation 4 as well.
Oh,
That
that's pretty good.
was like, cool. So that this is, you know, this will get better, right? And
Right.
then it didn't get better. And then
Uh-huh.
maybe that's how I should have known. Yeah, the last one was like we made a donation.
Yeah, right.
The human fund or something.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
I've gotten that before.
Did you? I was like,
Yeah, I was like, I'll take the money.
Yeah, I don't
give it to them.
That's
I'll
starving
give
kids.
it to them if I want to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just wonder, you know, they were pretty good. When it's going good,
Yeah.
you get
yeah.
a good present. And,
What's it worth on eBay?
Ooh.
well, I didn't sell any of my stuff because it meant a lot to me. But I'm a collector though, so anything you send, like I keep it, which much to the chagrin of my wife is like, "Can you just get this crap out of here." Yeah, but if you watch Comic Book Man, Walt, the manager, he eBayed everything. He didn't care. Like, I don't want this. So,
Yeah.
which was pretty funny. So, anybody else? They gave me the five. Is it that? Holy cow, that went quick. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, what do you enjoy the most from your career?
Always the next one. Always the next project. I mean, that's what we do, right? We just kind of keep creating stuff, new stuff.
What's your next project?
Well, we just finished the second season on the Mysterious Benedict Society for Disney Plus, and that's about it. That's about it for right now.
Yes.
Are you ever gonna become an actual country music star? Like-
No, no. I'll tell you, that was originally my idea, is that I pitched it to the producers, because in the graphic novel, you know, it's kind of played as a joke, is that, you know, that they reveal that Beta is this, like, basketball star. And I remember reading and kind of going, there's something else there. And again, it was this thing that came to me in meditation, that I was like just meditating, and it was like, he's a country music singer. I just had this little crazy vision, you know, in Tales of the Walking Dead, I'm not supposed to say anything, but there's a possibility that Beta's backstory will come back in Tales of the Walking Dead.
Stay
Not
tuned.
this first season, the next season. So I had this idea of him being a country music singer, and that this reason that he was like this source of sort of inspiration for people, that when the apocalypse happened, he realized that he had to kind of turn into something else, but that he wanted to preserve as much as he could, that if he had to kill people, he had to kill people, but that he wanted to preserve his old life as much as he could, so that if he was killing somebody, that there wasn't a possibility that they knew who was killing him, killing them. So I pitched this whole sort of backstory about him and Alpha and becoming the Whisperers, and they did most of it in the story where Alpha and him met, and then they called me and they were like, "You can sing, right?" And I was like, "I can kind of sing." And they said, "Well, we need you to record these 2 songs in the next couple of days." And I was like, "Couple of days?" I was like, "Send me what you want me to sing. Like, I gotta work on this."
Yeah.
But I never in a million years would I think that I would be at a Comic-Con signing vinyl records.
Yeah.
My face, I was just like, what is going on?
That's awesome. Anything can happen.
Yeah, I know.
Anything can happen, especially at a con, which is awesome. Anybody else? I was just gonna ask you, what's inspiring you right now? Is there anything you're really into that? I don't know. It was a very general question, but
I don't know. What is inspiring me now? I don't know. I'm getting.
that you inspire me. But,
Oh,
yeah.
you inspire me, brother.
I'm
It seems like a shining light. Every time I see these, it's like, Ming! I don't know. I'm kind of moving into, you know, being a little bit older and kind of finding what that's like, you know, as the parents are getting older. That's an interesting journey. Is, you know, mom and dad are getting a little loopy, and I'm kind of like, oh, I guess that's where we're going. I don't know. It's always trying to find something.
I think, we're always looking for that next, or something that just happens. You know, you don't really look for it. It just it
No,
just
I remember I
happens.
had this down period, like when, you know, in my 20s, like when I was a kid, I was just like, I want to learn to ride a motorcycle, and I want to learn to skydive. And I was like that way for 15 years. And then I got on Sons of Anarchy, and I have 2,500 skydives, and I was like, oh what do I do now? I was like, there was a good like 6 months to a year where I was just like, those were the two things that I really, really wanted to learn how to do. I was like, ride a motorcycle and jump out of a plane and not be afraid. And I was like, shit, I did it. I was like, now what? Maybe I'm in one of those periods now, it's just kind of figuring out like, all right, well, what's the, as I'm, inching towards 50, like, well, what's this gonna look like? I don't know.
Yeah, there's also that thing where, we wake up like, oh man, my back. I think, I think I just sit here and not move. I get it.
I keep trying to like reclaim little things from my childhood, like, I'm trying to get back into video games, and I'm just like, there's too many buttons on this.
Yeah, so you hit 15 buttons and like jump. Like, where's,
it's all so fast, I can't follow what's happening.
Back in my day, we had one orange button and a joystick.
I know.
And that did everything. Like, why do I need like force feedback?
I was sitting there talking with two of my best friends, and like one of them had just had surgery on his rotator cuff or something like that, and somebody else was talking about this great pillow that he uses, this neck pillow, and they were just kind of talking about it, and I went, all right, let's just stop the conversation right here, and just, because we've known each other since 2nd grade, and I was just like, we have crossed some threshold into old age where we're all excited about a certain neck pillow.
Yeah.
Let's all just commune on that for a second.
Right. I was like, dude, I just bought an air fryer. Like, oh man.
I just started making bread. Oh God.
Yeah. Let's save that off.
As much as we can.
Yeah, this is why I hang around young kids at Comic-Con.
I'm just gonna go get a tattoo on my face, do something
Make
some bold moves.
That's pretty bold.
Yeah.
That's also perfect. Thank you for being here. I love you.
Thank you.
If I'm at a con and you're there, I know I'm at the right show.
Oh, I love this guy.
For sure. Thank you guys for tuning in. Ryan Hurst, everybody. Follow him here all weekend. Go talk to him. Go buy an autograph. Go to his company. Go back to your friends. They imagine he's the best. Thank you guys very much.